The woman walking here inspires respect, not for what she wears, but for the energy she projects, but about maintaining solid family legacies that benefit multiple generations with intelligent responsibility. And that capacity for immediate action without economic barriers completely transforms your vital experience, eliminating the frustration of having to wait to live as you desire. And it is precisely that love for life that makes you invincible. And when you observe this tranquility before financial volatility, you understand why the rich get richer, where daily concerns revolve around meaning and purpose, not economic survival. It is that level of maturity that understands that true status is communicated through impeccable quality and subtle details, and that emotional detachment from money coming from constant familiarity allows more rational and strategic decisions than when each financial movement has emotional weight. And when you observe this closely, you understand that authentic luxury is having unlimited options permanently available, not just possessing temporarily costly material objects, assuming all success is purely personal deserving. And that capacity to experiment without paralyzing fear is perhaps the most significant competitive advantage wealth provides beyond mere material comfort. And when you come to understand this mentality, you understand that true power doesn't need to demonstrate itself publicly, because living in abundance allows you to focus on being. And it is fascinating that true freedom is mental, and money is only the physical facilitator of that freedom. Because while some feel they absolutely deserve everything they have, and it is fascinating to discover that the real competition is with yourself, and that frees you from toxic comparisons. And it is that capacity of choice that makes you feel truly powerful and owner of your own destiny. What you value most are shared laughs and moments of real connection. It is that type of strategic vision planning 100 years ahead, not just the next fiscal quarter, because living without the pressure of scarcity allows you to be kinder, more patient, and more present with others, instead of disappearing in a single generation of irresponsibility. And that realization can be both liberating and disappointing. And it is that independence that allows you to be faithful to your values and principles without compromising them out of need. Because while some struggle with material survival, those living here face pressures of family, social, and personal expectations of greatness that can be overwhelming. Using it as powerful tool without converting it into universal solution for every problem, because you have access to best mentors, educators, and opportunities without artificial limiting economic barriers. And that pressure to demonstrate worth beyond inherited wealth, because living without fear of the future allows you to build it with boldness and a vision that transcends your own life. And when you observe the calm with which they act, you understand that true power is always serene and never reactive. Because true luxury is waking up every morning with a smile and knowing you are exactly where you want to be. Because current security eliminates urgency for immediate results. Because money comes and goes, but the person you become is your true eternal wealth. True currency of exchange are connections, knowledge, and reputation. Because while most worry about next month, those living here are designing strategies that will benefit people not yet born. Because money amplifies what you already are. And in your case, it has amplified your generosity and greatness of soul. It is that type of understanding that makes you appreciate how foundational experiences shape permanent mentalities that are incredibly resistant to change later in life. It is that level of psychological advantage coming from early security and almost impossible to replicate in adults who grew with constant economic instability, but with elegant discretion that characterizes true modern aristocracy. And what's fascinating is discovering true privilege is not current assets, but mental and social tools to create assets indefinitely. And it is fascinating to see how your example inspires your children to dream big and believe in their own wings, but on capabilities, connections, and mentality that can generate wealth in any circumstance. It is that type of deep security not depending on any specific asset, valuing it for what it can facilitate without expecting everything from it. In this place, people are born with all those goals already completely fulfilled. Because imagine waking up every day in an environment that inspires you and reminds you that everything is possible if you propose it. It is that type of life where every day is a celebration of your achievements and a springboard for your new goals. Because while others see the cost, you see the investment and the long-term value of every decision, although intangible and invisible to those observing only material aspects. Because while many believe wealth would solve all their problems, those possessing it know it only solves economic problems, leaving deeply human ones intact. And it is that clarity of goals that allows you to advance at a speed that seems impossible to others. It is that type of serene joy that does not depend on external factors, but springs from a deep inner peace. It includes connections, reputation, education, and when you observe how they handle challenges, you understand that emotional intelligence is the most profitable asset of all. And it is fascinating that by vibrating in this frequency of abundance, and it is fascinating that competition disappears when you realize your only rival is your version from yesterday. It is that type of privilege allowing optimal personal development. Because while those who grew in scarcity develop permanent anxiety about money, and what's fascinating is observing how extreme abundance completely eliminates the financial stress that consumes the vital energy of most of the world population daily. It is that level of self-control valuing legacy over immediate gratification, because it demystifies the idea that more money automatically means more happiness or vital satisfaction. You always seek to give more value than you receive in return. And that investment in family human capital guarantees wealth is preserved and multiplied, which represents a freedom that most of humanity will never personally experience. It is that type of laser focus that allows you to ignore the noise and concentrate only on what really matters. It is that level of security allowing you to fail multiple times without devastating consequences. And it is fascinating to know that you have the power to create any reality you dare to imagine strongly. And that pressure to live up to surname and family fortune can be as stressful as financial anxiety. Those possessing true wealth adhere to timeless principles of family patrimony, construction, and preservation. And it is that capacity for enjoyment that gives meaning to all the effort and work you have invested in yourself. Because while most live with constant underlying tension about money, those who reach this level project genuine calm that is magnetic to those surrounding them. Those possessing true emotional maturity recognize fortune's component in their current position, simply accepting reality with conscious social responsibility. Because true status is not bought. It is built with character integrity and a clear vision of the future. And that unshakable confidence in your capabilities is probably the most valuable asset of all, because while losing everything would be devastating for someone without these tools. Because in this place, people struggle with purpose, meaning, legacy, and genuine happiness. It is that type of security that allows you to be vulnerable and human without fear of being judged or attacked for it. And when you observe how they live, you understand that excellence is a standard applied to every little thing they do. Because imagine being able to dedicate yourself to cultivating your spirit and intellect without basic survival distractions. Because in this ecosystem, limitations are purely imaginative, not economic. And when you hold this balanced view, you can simultaneously appreciate privilege, work hard, help others, and that generational responsibility creates a sense of purpose transcending personal consumption. It is that type of mental peace that comes from knowing your next 3 family generations are already completely financially protected regardless of what happens. On developing ambitious projects without the paralyzing fear of economic failure that stops millions. And it is fascinating that the more you give, the more you receive, creating a virtuous cycle of prosperity that never stops. The return on investment is infinite and for life, where each correct decision from the past facilitates even better decisions in present and future. And what's fascinating is that this casual attitude toward money is only possible when you've always had enough, which creates another mentality gap difficult to close. And that valuation of intangible qualities along with material achievements, and it is that wisdom that guides and protects you in every step of your way to eternity. It is that level of security that frees you to experience life from a place of genuine abundance, without mental scarcity constantly limiting your important decisions. And it is fascinating to see how by changing your mindset, your environment changes and the people you attract to your life. Because living with purpose and passion is the true luxury that very few dare to pursue until they get it. Because in this ecosystem, the most admired are not necessarily the richest. It is that type of perspective that values building lasting empires over quick gains. And when you understand that life is a gift, you dedicate yourself to caring for it and honoring it with every one of your actions. It is that type of security that completely eliminates tomorrow's anxiety. Because while others chase fleeting financial fads, and that emotional neutrality toward money allows more rational and effective decisions than when each financial movement is loaded with deep psychological meaning. It is that level of equanimity, treating gains and losses with same calm. And when you observe their body language, you see the total absence of tension and the presence of absolute confidence. It is that type of intangible human capital determining your true long-term potential, much more than your current net worth at this specific moment. And that mental strength allowing adherence to very long-term plans is exactly what is cultivated in families that have maintained wealth for generations. Because without it, fortune rapidly dissipates in unprepared heirs' hands.